Today I will be defining three terms in linguistics: entailment, presupposition, and implicature. So, what is an entailment? We say that sentence A entails sentence B if B is true in all conceivable circumstances when A is true. Here are a few examples. If our sentence A is, I tripped on the curb while walking to work yesterday, and our sentence B is, I tripped, then we know that B is true whenever A is true. Similarly, if our sentence A is, Pablo is a blue penguin from the hit TV show The Backyardigans, and sentence B is, Pablo is a penguin, we can see that B is true whenever A is true. Pablo cannot be a blue penguin without Pablo also being a penguin. So, what is a presupposition? We say that sentence A presupposes sentence B if both A and not A entail B. So here's an example showing what a presupposition is. If the sentence A is, my drawing of Pablo the penguin is very cute, and not A is, my drawing of Pablo the penguin is not very cute, and sentence B is, I have a drawing of Pablo the penguin, we can see that both A and not A are sentences that necessarily entail B. In other words, B is true whenever A and not A is true, so it's a little bit stronger than simply an entailment. What is an implicature? So an implicature is kind of a fancy word for saying implication, and we say that sentence A implicates sentence B if sentence B seems likely to be true when A is true, but it is not an entailment. So here are two examples. If sentence A is, Anthony speaks Spanish and English, and sentence B is, Anthony does not speak Chinese, we see that there isn't necessarily an entailment here. If A is true, it doesn't necessarily mean that B is true. It could just be that Anthony decided to omit the fact that he speaks Chinese. However, to most people, it sounds like if Anthony did know how to speak Chinese, he would have included it already in the first sentence. So it's not necessarily an entailment, but it seems very likely that B is true. Similarly, another implicature is if sentence A is the dialogue with Bob saying, is there any cake left? And Mary responding, there are some cookies left. And then sentence B would be, there is no more cake left. So we can see from sentence A that what is implied is that Mary knows that there is no more cake left. But instead of answering the question, she sort of jumps one step ahead and says there are some cookies left. But the important thing here is that B is not actually entailed in A. Right? Mary doesn't outright say that there's no cake left. She just implies that there's no cake left by saying that there are some cookies left. Basically saying there's another thing you can have because there is no more cake left.